Then, a loud knock echoed through the room. Emma nearly dropped the phone. Her pulse raced. Another knock. She quickly slipped the phone into her apron pocket, trying to remain calm. She opened the door. Standing outside was Richard Lewis, the assistant hotel manager. He smiled politely. "Everything all right, Emma?" His voice sounded friendly, but something about his eyes didn't. Emma forced a smile. "Everything's fine." Richard glanced past her into the room. "You've been in here quite a while." Emma looked back. She hadn't realized how much time had passed, nearly 45 minutes. Richard nodded slowly. "Room 307 always seems to slow people down." He laughed softly. Emma laughed too, but it felt forced. Richard's eyes drifted toward the cleaning cart, then toward the bed, almost as though he was searching for something. After a few seconds, he smiled again. "Carry on." He walked away. Emma watched him disappear down the hallway. Only after he turned the corner did she quietly close the door. Her heart refused to settle. She reached into her pocket. The phone was still there, safe. She looked at the voicemail again. "Don't trust the manager." Her thoughts raced. Richard wasn't the hotel manager. He was only the assistant manager. Was Daniel talking about someone else? Or did he simply not know Richard's real role? Emma suddenly remembered something. 5 years ago, Richard had worked here too, long before he became assistant manager. A chill crawled down her spine. Could he know something about Daniel Harper? She looked back toward the door. Without realizing it, she quietly locked it. Emma stared at the phone. Her hands trembled. Another voicemail. Received just now. That wasn't possible. No signal, no SIM card, no internet. Yet somehow, another message had arrived. She slowly pressed play. Static filled the room once again. This time, the recording was longer. The same man's voice returned, weaker, more frightened. "If you're hearing this, I was right. They found me." Emma's breathing became shallow. The man continued, "I hid everything before they came." A loud metallic bang echoed in the recording. Someone shouted in the distance. The words were impossible to understand. The man whispered again, "They can't know." "About the documents," more static. "If they find the papers, they'll never let me leave." The recording suddenly ended. Emma replayed the message. "Documents? What documents?" Emma quickly searched the internet again. This time, she searched Daniel Harper's profession. Within seconds, his company profile appeared. Daniel Harper, senior financial auditor. Emma frowned. A financial auditor, someone whose job was to uncover fraud. She felt a knot tighten in her stomach. Could Daniel have discovered something inside the Crescent Hotel? She continued searching. Most articles repeated the same story. Missing businessman. Unsolved disappearance, investigation suspended. Then one article caught her attention. A small local newspaper published 5 years earlier. The headline read, "Police investigating possible financial irregularities at historic Crescent Hotel." Emma opened it immediately. The article was surprisingly short. According to anonymous sources, authorities had received reports of suspicious financial records connected to the hotel, but only 3 days later. The investigation quietly disappeared from the news. No explanation, no arrests, no follow-up, almost as though someone wanted everyone to forget it ever happened. Emma leaned back in her chair. Daniel arrived. Daniel disappeared. The financial investigation disappeared. It couldn't be a coincidence. Emma barely slept that night. The next morning, she returned to the Crescent Hotel earlier than usual. She couldn't stop thinking about the hollow wall inside room 307. She waited until the third floor was completely empty. Then she entered the room. This time, she locked the door behind her. She moved the bed away from the wall. Carefully, she examined the wooden panel. One corner looked newer than the rest. Someone had repaired it years ago, using the blade of a small scraper from her cleaning kit. She gently loosened the edge. The panel shifted. Behind it, a narrow cavity appeared. Emma reached inside. Her fingers touched cold metal. She slowly pulled out a small steel lockbox. Dust covered every inch of it. The lock had already rusted away. It had been hidden there for years. Emma lifted the lid. Inside were dozens of documents, financial records, insurance claims, bank transfers, hotel invoices. Every page carried signatures. The same signature appeared again and again. Richard Lewis. Emma's heart raced. Beneath the paperwork, she found several old photographs. One photograph made her stop breathing. It showed Daniel Harper, standing in the hotel lobby, smiling. Beside him was Richard Lewis. The photograph had been taken 2 days before Daniel disappeared. Emma handed the metal box to the police. Investigators spent days reviewing the old security tapes. One tape had been mislabeled and never examined during the original investigation. It showed Daniel Harper leaving room 307 shortly after midnight after receiving a phone call from the hotel manager. The manager led him into a restricted maintenance corridor behind the third floor, claiming there was a problem with the hotel's security system that required Daniel's signature. Daniel had accidentally uncovered a large insurance fraud operation. Several hotel employees had been staging fake fires, thefts, and renovation claims for years, collecting millions through fraudulent insurance payouts. Daniel, a financial auditor traveling for business, had recognized irregular financial records after overhearing a conversation and examining documents that had been left in the business center. When Daniel confronted the hotel manager, the manager realized Daniel intended to report everything to the authorities the next morning. Inside the maintenance tunnel, Daniel was attacked by 2 employees. During the struggle, he struck his head on a concrete wall and died. Panicking, the conspirators hid Daniel's body inside a sealed maintenance chamber beneath room 307, covered the entrance with new flooring, and erased as much evidence as they could. They kept his luggage in the room to make it appear he had simply vanished. Before he was attacked, Daniel had hidden his phone beneath the bed in room 307 and recorded a voicemail after realizing someone was following him. He hoped that one day an honest person would find it if he never made it out alive. Guided by the voicemail, police searched beneath the maintenance chamber and finally recovered Daniel's remains. DNA testing confirmed his identity, bringing an end to the 5-year mystery. The surviving members of the fraud ring, including former assistant staff and the retired hotel manager, were arrested and charged. Daniel's family finally received answers after years of uncertainty. Months later, the Crescent Hotel reopened under new ownership. Emma returned to room 307 one last time. The mysterious phone, now kept safely in an evidence bag, displayed one final message on its cracked screen.